Hi everybody, it's great to be with you again, and this is the second video blog in a row with the notes from the ARC. And I want to talk about the workforce one more time, but today I want to ask you a question. Where can Paul be safe? That's what Ruth, his mother, asks. She's in her 70s, as is her husband. For most of Paul's life, he lived at home with his family. And what they went through, which I didn't fully appreciate, in the last decade are two incidents where Paul was severely hurt in a supervised staffing situation in group living. And the first one was a community nonprofit provider, and the second one more recently was at a state-operated program. So of course she's thinking, where would Paul be safe? Both times, Paul needed hospitalization for the injuries. Both times, there was investigations. And what struck me about this story is Ruth was someone on my original telephone tree list over 20 years ago when we advocated for funding and advocated for the waiting list. And when he entered the home, if anything, she thought, okay, great, we've done our support and caregiving. Here's a chance for Paul to thrive with peers in supported living in a group setting. So this is what I'm thinking is we really have to address the workforce issue. We have to have salaries that reflect the market. That's one key, right, step we have to take to make sure Paul is safe. And the second thing we have to do is work together to make sure no one gets hired, that has a risk of not being attentive to his or her role and or worse yet, be a person who might commit abuse. And we have to check our procedures and processes. But we know that most staff, they care, they are supportive. And we've talked about some great stories in the past of people who have worked in our field, who have gone above and beyond. And that's what we want to see others emulate. That's what we want to reinforce. And that's why we need to address competitive wages in the coming year. So again, hang in there with us, work with us on the workforce issue. You've told us about it. You've been concerned about it, whether you're son or daughter is directing his or her services, or whether you as a family member are supporting him at home, or whether she or he lives in a community housing situation with staff support. Work with us and let's make sure Paul and others are not only safe, but thriving and being included fully in their community.